I'm Shane Hoefer, CEO of Rocky Mountain Forest Products, and this is Talking Shop. I'm Shane Hoefer, and this is Blue Collar Blueprint, where I sit down with some of the most interesting individuals that come into my life. Today, we have Donald Carlson with Tweeds, a fascinating, there's a word for he makes custom suits.
It's custom clothier.
Wasn't there like some crazy, what was that?
Haberdashery?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, he makes custom suits, and they're badass, and I just tried on a couple that he bought. We're fine-tuning those. So you'll get to see those soon. Anyway, Donald, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So where to begin? So let's start as if you and I haven't talked at all prior to this. How did you get into all of this?
Yeah, I don't even know. Did we really talk about like my past story? I can't remember.
I remember your family had a dry cleaning company, and somehow it was tied to that a little bit.
Kinda, yeah. So like, I've always been around like dry cleaning and like garments and clothes. So like kind of like grew up in that industry. And so, I've always like loved dressing up and like dressing for success. And like, when I put on a suit, I feel good. I feel better. And so, it's a fun thing. You need to like express your personality a little bit. And so, but it started in the dry cleaning business. So, about, out of high school, throughout high school, I was a magician. I don't know, did I tell you that?
I think you may have said something about that.
Yeah. So like, I was obsessed with magic, like card tricks. That's all I did for like 12 years straight. And it was my hobby. I'd be up to like 3 a.m. practicing magic. And I thought that's what I was going to do as like my career. I was going to make my money, support my family and everything. And so out of high school, I worked at Universal Studios as a magician, doing magic shows. And I got fired from that because I couldn't sell the product as well as I should have. And so came back home to Sarasota and asked my dad if I could start working for him in the dry cleaning business. But I wanted to like provide value, so like not like pressing clothes or like tagging in or taking care of customers, because I want to like help grow the business. So I decided we'd start like a free pickup and delivery service for people who do dry cleaning on like a weekly basis. So like that first day, I started knocking on doors and asking people if I could pick up and deliver their dry cleaning.
Okay.
Legit, that's what I did. I was like, okay, how am I going to get a customer? So I went to go knock on doors. And the first day, I signed up 4 customers. And so I had this little 2005 red Kia Spectra 5 hatchback.
How old were you at the time?
I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah, 19 or 20. And so after about 6 months of knocking on doors, I was just picking up and delivering dry cleaning. It started to like grow and get bigger, so I needed a van. So I needed to buy a commercial van to be able to put all the clothes in and hang them up. So I saw a van on the side of the road that did not say for sale, but I decided to go in the shop and ask the guy if he would sell me the truck. And he did for $1,500. And so anyway, after about 8 years of like helping my dad grow the dry cleaning business, I took the pickup and delivery service from 0 to doing $1 million a year in 8 years. And I left that, and we had 6 vans on the road and 6 guys picking up and delivering dry cleaning. And so that was like kind of like my backstory.
All right.
Yeah, kind of got like burnt out from the dry cleaning business. It's an interesting business, and then decided I'd start selling custom suits.
And so how long have you been doing that now? How long has Tweeds been
Only
up
19 months.
19 months?
Yeah, just over a year now. I don't really know where I want to take Tweeds. Like, I just know that I love measuring people up and getting to hear about their story and meeting like cool guys like you. Like, because we get to sit down for like 45 minutes and like build a relationship.
I think we have to tell the story of how we actually met.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting, like synchronistic type story. I love how things come together. So I don't know if you remember this story. So we were at GrowthCon.
Yep.
And we were sitting real close up front, me and the 3 other people that I were with, and we needed to leave because we had something we had to go take care of, and we didn't want to be rude. Brandon Dawson was on stage, so instead of all 4 of us getting up and leaving as a group, we were going to go filter out one at a time.
Oh, nice.
And I misunderstood the plan of where we were meeting and how we were meeting, so I filter out, stop in the restroom, and I'm waiting back at the door, waiting for everyone to filter out one at a time. And that's when I ran into you.
Yep.
But the interesting part of the story actually begins in the very beginning of the day, back in the morning. And we were sitting outside, we were having a cup of coffee, and we were watching everyone filter into Growth Club. And there's a handful of really nice custom fitted suits that were there. We saw some really good suits.
For sure. Saw some really bad ones as well.
Yeah. And I was talking to Susan. I'm like, Susan, I think I need to get a couple custom suits. And she's like, you don't really wear suits. I'm like, I think I would if I had some that looked as good as some of these.
Yeah.
So that was in the morning, and so then here we are at the end of the day. Because of a miscommunication, I'm just hanging around the back entrance to the room, and this guy comes up to me just cold. And he's just like, hey man, so what do you do? And just strikes up a conversation. And I said, oh, I'm in building materials. What do you do? He's like, I make custom suits. I just love the synchronicity of that, because I was like, I just said I needed this, and then
crazy.
Like the universe just served it up on a silver platter. Like, hey, this should be your suit guy.
Right. And it's like kind of weird, because it's like for me, it's like, that opportunity happened though because we sparked that conversation. You know what I mean?
You sparked it.
And I'll say that was, what was that? That was on Saturday, I think it was.
Yep.
And so only like 20 minutes before that did I finally get comfortable and start talking to people. And like, I wish I would have been talking to more people the whole time, because you never know where it's going to take you and like the people you're going to meet. And so you were probably only the third person I had walked up to, but like the first person I walked up to actually scheduled an appointment to get a suit. And so that just fired me up to keep going. And then you said yes, and you like made my whole day. So it's just super, super cool.
Yeah, it was. I love how those little synchronistic meetings happen. That's really neat. So you picked up a handful of clients from that.
Yeah, I did.
Is that how you get most of your clients at this point? Word of mouth, just going up to people, or how have you gotten this thing off the ground?
So like, being in the dry cleaning business, having that power base of the dry cleaning clients was super, super helpful.
Sure.
8 years of building the pickup and delivery service.
That's right. You already knew who was wearing nice suits.
Exactly. So for me, it was a clear pivot. Like, I had been wanting to get out of the cleaning business for a little bit, probably about 2 years, but to leave my dad, to leave my family's business was really hard, and it had to make sense and be the right thing.
So ours is a family business. I totally understand the trials, tribulations, pros and cons of a family business.
Yeah. So it's like, I was actually going to leave like 2 years prior to that and go into the Marines. I was just kind of lost. I just didn't know where I was at, right? And so thank God for this, because like it's really been awesome. It's like been super, super cool.
So 19 months, are you happy with the progress you've made in 19 months?
Super, super happy.
What's your grand vision? Where do you want to take Tweeds?
So, the more I am kind of like a person, like I just take it like day by day. Like I'm just like trying to focus on the next sale. And I just do believe like focusing on that, making sure providing the best customer service, going above and beyond for every client will just like get you to the next point. Like I don't really think about the next point, but although recently I have been thinking that I want to train multiple guys to measure up, and people who are passionate about this, and get like a team of like sales guys like across the country. Like you've heard of Tom James, right? Mm-hmm. $1 billion industry. They have suit consultants all over the country that measure people up, and that's kind of maybe where I want to take it potentially.
Okay.
I mean, because I do well. Like it could just be me the whole time, but I don't. I would like to have a bigger business.
I think that's where you have to find your passion, and that's where maybe to some degrees I diverged a little bit from some of the grant stuff. Like it's always like you should be as big as you could possibly be all the time.
Yeah.
I think you have to find your sweet spot of happiness too.
Yeah.
If that required you to get away from doing the aspects of the custom suit business that you love, then that may be the wrong choice for you.
Right.
But so what do you like the idea of working on the business as a whole, or do you love the aspect that hopefully we'll show here in a minute of going through the fabric?
That's what I love more.
Yeah.
For sure. Being like bringing in other people to, measure up and teach them how to do it and lead them and motivate them to go out and get sales is definitely probably not my specialty. I really love just talking to people and showing fabrics and getting people to look at it. Like that's definitely like my strong point, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Just continuing to fine tune your operation. You're up to 3 trucks now?
Yeah, 3 trucks, yeah.
So are you the only guy doing the measurements then?
Well, so I've got one other guy locally. He's awesome. He's just a contractor for Tweeds, so he goes out and does his own sales and gets paid commission on what he sells.
Cool.
And then then I just got another guy out in Illinois who's doing the same thing. So I was really well connected with the dry cleaning industry.
Sure.
I was, went to conferences and I knew a lot of the dry cleaning owners. And so I've also got a really good connection of young guys who hustle that are in the dry cleaning industry. So if I can teach them how to measure, they've got a great power base to go out and crush it just like I am.
I wonder if this would be an interesting franchising model.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I just don't know. You know, for me, it's like, yeah, I don't know how to take it from there.
So I love the approach. I do many things in life that way. How you just kind of take it one day at a time. Do what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Is that just kind of what your plan is at this point? Do what's in front of you, see how it evolves, see what aspects of Tweeds that you love, what you dislike, and you're going to grow it from there?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, you know, I still have more to grow. I can do more and more every month, and I am. And so, you know, I can make a good, like, modest living more, you know, just being me. But yeah, like, I want to build something really cool. But yeah, I do. I take it day by day, and that's it.
All right, so there is no grand vision that you want to cast at this point. You're still kind of defining it.
Yeah, I am defining it. Yeah.
That's a fun stage.
Yeah, I would say, but the grand vision I would say would probably be like a franchising model or having a team of guys throughout the country crushing it.
Are you where you thought you would be when you started this less than 2 years ago?
I had no idea where I thought I was going to be. Like, I didn't really put much thought into it. Like, I had like $11,000 or something. I probably had like $18,000 in my bank account. And I put every dime into starting Tweeds. Like, I had less than $500 in my bank account when I started it. And I was living in like a nice little luxury apartment, so it was like $2,000 a month in rent. I was just living paycheck to paycheck, really.
Yeah.
And so like I put that axe over my head. Like, you know, I left my dad's dry cleaning business, so I didn't have a paycheck. So like I had to make it work. But yeah, again, like I didn't know where I was going to be at. I had a vision, I had a belief. I know I could get it done, and I just worked on getting sales. Like, the sale was the number one thing.
Well, the most important part, though, you have passion for what you're doing.
Yeah.
You love suits.
Yeah.
You love fine clothing.
Yeah.
And that comes through in what you do.
Yeah, for sure. I do. Yeah. And, but if I don't find a customer to buy those clothes, then I got nothing.
Absolutely. So how do you find new clients?
Knocking on doors, word of mouth, Facebook ads, Google ads.
How many did you pick up from GrowthCon?
5 or 6.
5 or 6?
Yeah, I could have done way better. Next year I'm going to crush it.
So let's pivot. Let's talk about GrowthCon.
Yeah.
How did you end up on the Grant Cardone train?
Oh man, I forget. Like, actually, it took me a while to like Grant Cardone. I was a big Gary. It took me a while to like Grant Cardone.
Yes, I could not. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So I had listened to some Gary audio. I'm an audiobook guy. I listened to some Gary V books. I vibed with some Gary V.
Yeah.
And I forgot. I gave a buddy a book, and he really liked it. And he's like, "Man, I'm going to give you one." He gave me the 10x rule. I couldn't get through it the first time.
Yeah.
So I can vibe with that. I later then listened to Be Obsessed or Be Average, and that vibed with me a lot more. I think, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I can resonate with that.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this coming in. I'm relatively new to the Grant Cardone thing.
Wait, so how new?
I mean, the first event I ever went to was
that one? Okay.
Was the one that you and I met at just back in March.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been probably listening to him for 4 years, I would say. And like back in the dry cleaning business, like I really needed that. Like, going from in the dry cleaning business, like your average order is like $35.
Yeah.
So imagine how many doors I had to knock on, how many clients I had to get to make any type, to really make it something. And so like he also inspired me to like dress up, to go out and knock on doors, and to do it and do it and do it. And then one day I was listening to Young Hustlers, and Jared Glant was like, he said, you might be doing all the right things, you might be hustling, and you just might be in the wrong vehicle. And I think for me, the dry cleaning, there was just definitely, potentially like the wrong vehicle. Because,
I think that is so true. I have kicked around the idea of if I should be doing, I'm always looking for different ideas to do videos on. And one I thought that's interesting is, should you ever talk an employee into quitting? And it's because I've actually done that when I see that someone's doing a job but they're miserable. And they can sometimes be actually fairly decent at it.
Yeah.
Like they can be doing sales, but I'm like, dude, you hate your job. You're coming in here every day. Why are you doing it? I'm glad you're here. You're making me money. But you're miserable.
Yeah.
Life's too short to be miserable.
Yeah.
And so, and not that you were miserable doing dry cleaning.
Yeah.
It's an extreme example. You got to find the right vehicle.
Yeah.
You got to find what you're passionate about.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Let's talk about your
Yeah,
passion.
and I wasn't, just to clarify that, like, I'm so grateful for the whole dry cleaning experience because that would have never led me to like what I'm doing now. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Everything like you do previously like leads you to your next step, I don't regret anything. Like, I love it, love it.
Yeah, I can resonate with that. I always say the same thing. I wouldn't change anything about where I've been, even the hard times, because they make me who I am
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
So
exactly.
we've got there.
Yeah.
So how long have you been going to Grant Cardone events?
I did the first one in 2019, and back when it was in Miami. That was my first one. I had never been
Okay.
to an event, and then missed the one in Vegas at Mandeville or Mandalay Bay, and then back to this one. I'm more like listening to them all day, like brainwashing myself into like that type of.
So what got you hooked on Grant Cardone? What about his message is it that you like?
I don't know, man. He's just like when you really dig deep into what he says and like what he, and you do have to like get past who he is because like he can come off a little strong.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I don't know what it is. I believe everything he says.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's like we could cut this or whatever. But I know he does like the Scientology thing.
Yeah.
And like I just believe like. Everything he says, like even about relationships and like how to figure it all out, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I shouldn't say I go back and forth on Grant Cardone. I'm 90% all in on Grant Cardone. There's a handful of times, like you said, he's just got a strong personality, and sometimes you're like, dang, but that's why he has the empire that he does. He leans on that larger than life persona.
Yeah, and I don't really have visions to want to like get to that level, I guess. I don't know. I just want to be have a few nice cars, have a nice house, be able to like travel when I want with the family, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I don't, and that's where I think that's important. You have to understand what it is that you're actually looking to try to achieve.
Yeah.
And I think it's something to always be reassessing. Susan and I reassess that on a regular basis about like, now what do we look at it not so much about where we're trying to go. It's like, what do we want to go experience? Like, I would like to go, I want to experience what it's like to be on a yacht. I want to experience this or whatever it is without being attached to anything. And I can actually see it becoming super wealthy at some point, just becoming a burden and kind of being boring. And you might just be like, okay, did that. And you move on to something else. So that's why I think it's really important to follow your passions. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to sit down and talk to you, is your passion oozes out of you when you talk about suits and dressing up and just all the different fabrics. And did you learn all this through dry cleaning?
No, I didn't. I just like doused myself in this information.
So did you know, like when you were you looking for a vehicle to transition to from dry cleaning?
No, I just, like I don't want to be like the person that's like, it'll happen when it happens type thing. You know what I mean? Because I'm always like trying to make the next thing happen. Like I'm always like trying to grow. I want to go out.
But there's something to be said for being in the flow.
Exactly. Like something, this happened. Like it was time for me to move on from that. And then this opportunity came up and it just was perfect timing. And
Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it took a lot of like just listening about fabrics and everything to figure it all out and understand it. But like back in the dry cleaning business, man, like one thing you might not know, like when people buy like suits off the rack or like a less expensive suit, in the dry cleaning business, we always had this issue where like people would bring in their jacket and it would start to bubble up. Have you ever had a jacket where it bubbled up?
No,
No? So like, it almost looked like the material was like just bubbling, right? And and I always thought like it was something we were doing. I was trying to figure it out. Why
cheap
is it doing
synthetic
that?
thread or something?
So kinda. So what it is they use gluing in the process of making the jacket, which is a faster, cheaper way to do it.
Sure.
So the gluing starts to just come apart, and that's what makes it bubble. And so like, with like my garments, everything's, hand canvas, full canvas, so you don't have those issues. So yeah, that was one thing I learned. I was like, wow, okay.
So being 19 months in, are you pleased with the progress that you've made as far as growing this company and getting it off the ground?
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Would you say you've exceeded your expectations or met your expectations or failed or fallen short of your expectations? It's a loaded question.
I don't know what my expectations were, like just starting, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like if I'm happy with a month, like I just know that it can always be better. So I'm just like I do something and then I'm like, okay, this next month has to be better. I know I can put in more work.
What drives you to make it better? Is it just how you're hardwired?
I say so. Like, yeah. I think I don't know. Like, actually, I had that discussion with like one of my clients who came in. He's like younger too. He's doing really well. He's got 5 kids. He's like 34, I think it is.
Wow.
And we were talking about him. We're very, very much the same. He's actually going to the business boot camp with me in July. I convinced him to come, so we're stoked about that. But yeah, he kept telling his family like he's doing it for his family or something. Then like he like talked to like a therapist or something to figure out why he was doing it. He's like, the therapist like, you're not doing it for your family. You're doing it because this is the way you're wired. Like this is who you are. Like, yeah, I mean, you always want to strive for better and more.
Right.
I think that's how I am.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's in human nature. I think if we aren't always pushing ourselves, I've faced the opportunity recently where I could potentially have spent a ridiculous amount of time not working. And I started to kind of think about that, and at sometimes when you're a little burnt out, you're running hard, it sounds fun.
Yeah.
It's like, I could see after 6 months, like, just going stir crazy.
Yeah.
Thinking of Glenn Stearns.
Yeah.
You know, when they asked him, you know what the quote I'm leading up to?
No, say it.
Okay, so it was Glenn Stearns at 10X, and he had moved to Jackson, Wyoming, and then he decided to move back to the city. I don't remember where, and he sold his place in Jackson, and he's going to start a new lending company. And they asked him, well, why did you do that? He says, well, you can only look at so many fucking elk. And it was kind of the same thing.
Okay,
I was
yeah,
like,
I do remember that, yeah.
man, maybe we should go live in Hawaii or whatever. I'm like, I bet after 6 months that's going to get dull.
Yeah.
And I think that as humans, we're hardwired to want to go and do things and achieve things. But I think we also, in the same token, sometimes we get too focused on whatever our vehicle is. For me, whether it's Rocky Mountain Forest products, for you, whether it's Tweeds, like you got a ton of passion. It's brand new. It's off the ground.
Yeah.
At some point, you may or may not like, man, this doesn't do it for me anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's good to be introspective and always analyzing whether, am I still happy? Am I still being fulfilled? Am I still being challenged? I say all this because I have the guy that runs our, currently is our marketing director. He was the one that really was challenging me and was just like, I don't think you're burnt out. I don't think your game's big enough. I don't think you've been thinking big enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds exhausting, because I thought it was, kind of coming up on burnout.
Yeah.
And we started talking over the past couple of years, and he's really helped me to think differently and just be like, huh. I don't know. That was the thing for me, is like I had achieved some big things and bigger than I thought that I would achieve, and so I thought that it didn't occur to me to think bigger.
Right.
And it was at that point that Grant Cardone stuff started resonating with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe I just need to go psycho with this for a little bit and really see how big we can make this thing. And now we have ridiculous aspirations that are coming together.
So you always have to have something. Yeah, like how does someone like Grant Cardone stay like motivated?
Yeah.
So I guess it's like his mission is like to reach every person on the planet.
I think you have to just
like,
keep getting bigger and
Yeah.
bigger and bigger until you just like, that doesn't resonate with me anymore.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think bigger is better at all. I could totally see like someone, I see it all the time in construction. So we do building materials, and I see guys all the time, their passion is not running a huge construction company. Their passion is creating with their hands.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be about trying to be a $100 million company for them. For them, it's going to be about perfecting their craft.
Yeah.
And so that's where I diverge a little bit from some of the traditional Grant Cardone stuff. It's not always just make it as big as possible.
Right.
I'm trying to find as much happiness as possible.
Exactly.
Fulfillment. For me, that's I have to challenge myself, and my vehicle to challenge myself is building this business empire.
Yeah.
But the bigger it gets, the more help I need. I'm like, I can't do this. I need a guy to do this and a guy to do that. So now we're looking on bringing partners on. Anyway, it's supposed to be about you, not me, but the premise is still there.
Yeah, it's
right?
like, I'll say like a little story too. Okay, so when I went to my first Grant Cardone Growth Con in 2019, I was actually like listening to like a lot of like health stuff. Like I was overweight, not super overweight, but chunky, and I'd always eaten like McDonald's, and like I was a little chunky, and so I wanted to get myself into shape. And so I kind of like put like business a little bit in the dry cleaning to the back end, and then focused on getting healthy and getting like my mental health right, and like my mind right, and like really enjoying like the present time. And I was going to yoga every day.
Yeah.
And so just because I wasn't focused on business and trying to, make the business better, you should always have something that you're focused on trying to get better. Like for me at that point, it was, I want to be present. I want to go to yoga and just feel good. And so like I was obsessed over that. So like there's so many different like types of obsessions you can have. It doesn't always have to be business or whatever.
I couldn't agree more. I was working for my dad, and he had always been grooming me to take over the business, and his health was fine at that point. And he and I were just ramming heads all the time. We just philosophically view the world differently in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
And I just was not happy. I just wasn't a happy person. And so I went to just work on becoming a happier person. Did, a lot of personal development stuff, doing more meditation, things along those lines. And going in and doing all that gave me all these skills to become a businessman 10 times more successful than I would have been if I just would have been, I'm all about business.
Right.
So I had poured myself into that for years, so I can resonate with that a lot. Like you got to go work on yourself first. Otherwise, I think if you're going out there just purely for success and you're a wreck inside, physically, emotionally, psychologically, I don't think you can actually sustain success.
No. Yeah, for sure.
At that point.
I agree. So, did you and your dad kind of bashed heads like in the business a little bit?
We did when I took a very, very junior role to him, when I like knew I knew nothing.
Yeah.
We were just fine.
Yeah.
Then as he wanted me to take more and more control, his desire on that would wax and wane, and he'd be like, hey, you need to fix this. Like, okay, cool, well, we need to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, well, you can't do that. Well, that's the solution. Well, but we can't do that. Well, why not, Dad? Well, because we've never done it that way. And it was just, it's somebody who's, I think it's the stage of life. I think it's not rare for people to get into their 60s and 70s and get more rigid in their way of thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone does that gets into that realm, but I've seen that with multiple people. And so, yeah, we rammed heads more and more, especially as I was seeing more and more clearly where we could take things in another direction. And one day he would be like, it's yours, start doing it, do whatever you want with it. Oh, but don't do that.
Take it however you want, but yeah.
And so, no, I came very, very close. About the same time I figured out I was not happy and I needed to go do some personal development work. I came very close to saying, I may have made a mistake being here for this many years. I've been at the company, I think, for 27 years. So probably about the 20-year mark, I was like, maybe I need to leave. Maybe I need to go do my own thing. And, in hindsight, I'm glad I ended up sticking it out, especially considering my dad's health deteriorated so quickly. But it's been, we've done
exploded, right?
Yeah. In the past, just over 5 years, we've gone from 10 million in revenue to 60. So, and I think, I actually think my dad and I, in hindsight, make a great duo. I don't think I have the hard wiring to have done what he did for those first 10 million. It's a totally different skill set to go from 0 to 10 than to go from 10 to 60. And I actually think that's why we were completely
like
at
the
odds with
foundation
each
was
other.
there.
The foundation was there. So he built this amazing foundation.
Yeah.
I saw the ways
You just like built on top
how
of
to blow that up.
Yeah.
And surround myself with the right people to be able to do that. So that was the core thing. He was the solopreneur almost, you know. He always had a team, but it was everything came across his desk. That fundamentally limited how he was going to be able to grow his business.
Yeah.
I was the guy that I was like, oh, I suck at that. I suck at that. But I know someone who's great at this, and I know somebody who's great at that.
Yeah.
And I get all those people to buy into this grand vision.
Was it hard to like let it go? Let
go of the control?
Yeah.
No, because it actually came at the right time to when I was starting to get burnt out, and I didn't even want to try to control it all.
Yeah.
I was like,
knew you tried,
I just knew I couldn't. I had been trying to build a $60 million business doing it the same way my dad did. They don't go together. You can't do everything and build a company that big. And so that's where it was like, it's almost divine synchronicity that my burnout that I experienced when I was an unhappy person allowed me to let go of control so I could go focus on myself and build up people around me. And by being so authentic with everyone, I got a lot of trust with everybody. And so next thing you know, we have this very, very solid team that's been with us for, you know, the core team's been with us a decade plus, been here through this transition from my dad to me. And we've grown this thing together, and I became a much happier, healthier person physically and mentally in the process.
That's awesome.
Even though I'm still a chunkier person than you, I've dropped about 50 pounds in the
Really?
past year. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think you did tell me that. When we were measuring, you were like, this was a perfect time because you dropped all that weight.
Yeah. And so I'm still just trying to find my perfect little balance. I think I'd like to drop, I put on a lot of muscle, but I'd like to drop more, but I definitely don't know why we're talking about my physique in a business podcast. But that's actually kind of what I wanted. I just wanted two guys just talking about stuff.
That's the best.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's where I can very much vibe. I get the, like, these business gurus, the Grant Cardones, or Gary Vee comes off way softer than a Grant.
Way softer.
But, like, they seem like they have it all figured out. They don't have it all figured out. They're making it up as we go, as they go, just like we all are.
Yeah.
And I
their
think
lives aren't perfect. They have issues that they come across every day too.
And I think life is about doing it kind of like what you're doing. Like, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
This looks fun. I have passion for it.
Yeah.
Let's go and do it, and we'll kind of take it as we go.
Yeah.
My intent was not to get the business to where it is today. It kind of evolved over the course of the past 7 years, and now I see more clearly where I'm going to take it. I became a better leader in the process. We're just getting started. I really think that within 10 years you'll see $1 billion company here. But that's because we brought in some amazing people. It's not me. Like, there's so many unsung heroes that will be sung here soon. They'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's a journey. You just got to figure it out. And I think the key is to stay. I love the fact that you were like, I went and I did yoga and I kind of figured things out. You got it. That's your core. That's your starting point. Then you can figure out, am I happy doing my job? Am I not happy with this business? Because isn't that what life's about? Like, why do we want nice things? Why do we want nice watches or to go do just for the experience? Life's about experiences. It takes financial means to do that. But does that mean that that's the only way to live? Hell no.
Yeah,
if you wanted to be a penniless monk and that was how you were feeling
you could
fulfilled,
be just as happy.
Absolutely.
Or happier.
If that's how, and that's why I like to define it as what am I going to go experience? Like, yes, I would like to experience being on a yacht. I would like to experience this.
Yeah.
Instead of, I have to have this. I want to experience it, and then I can let it go.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've done way too much of the talking. You're supposed to be the guest.
No, I'm enjoying this conversation. One thing, I've never been in like an exotic supercar before. Like, you know, there's people that like, they'll rent them because they want that experience.
Yeah.
I feel like, because I know that's 100%, you know, attainable, right? But like getting a jet or something, that's completely something different. But I don't want to go into one until the day I can buy one.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
So if Grant invited you on his jet, you would be like,
no, the jet, yes.
Oh.
Because I'm not shooting for a jet.
Oh, you need a supercar.
Just a supercar, yeah, like a Ferrari or Lambo. I've never been in one.
So what is your dream supercar? One of my sons is
Ferrari.
a supercar nut.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How many do you have?
How many?
Sons.
2 sons.
Oh, okay.
I was like, supercars?
None. Girls or no?
Nope.
No? Okay.
2 sons.
Nice.
Wife and 2 sons.
Yeah. But yeah, Ferrari. I'm a Ferrari guy.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't have a specific one. Just like
from the best I can tell, I think that's the supercar that I would be most likely to fit in, being 6'4".
Right.
I think most of those are not built for 6'4", 220-pound guys.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. They're small for sure.
So would
I
that
see
be your
you probably
first?
have like a truck or something.
You have a big SUV.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, a Yukon Denali.
Okay.
What would be your big splurge? My splurge is watches. I love my watch collection.
I thought this is my first Rolex. It felt good.
I have that same one. The grape dial.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah. I think so. Probably.
Yeah.
It's an OP. It's a 39.
Yeah. I have that exact one. Same
Do you?
dial. Yeah.
Same color and everything.
Same color. Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. It was. It was actually the first Rolex I ever got.
Wow, this is that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, so what year is yours then?
I got mine last year.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome.
So I just started my luxury watch collection last year, and that was the first one.
I do love watches. I like watches.
I almost wore another OP. I just got one of the new 41s in the red coral dial.
Okay.
You know which one I'm talking about?
No. Is it just like this, but it's red?
It's like an orangey red color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it clashed with my...
I think the outfit, yeah. I think I told you that my girlfriend's, did I tell you my girlfriend's pregnant?
No!
Oh yeah, so I got my first baby on the way. So,
Congratulations.
Yeah, we think it's a girl, we find out Sunday, so it's super exciting.
You think just intuitionally?
Yeah, we just feel
Love
it. Yeah, in the beginning she thought she wanted a boy, she thought it was a boy. I've been wanting a girl the whole time. For some reason I do. And now we just think it's a girl, we have that feeling. So, we find out Sunday. But anyway, now I wanted to get a second Rolex, but I can't yet. I can't put my money on that stuff.
Yeah. It'll come together.
Yeah,
It'll all come together.
Down the line. Yeah.
All right, so watches over supercars for you? Or, I mean, they got kind of comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah, I like them both.
Like them both?
Yeah. I like cars, I like watches, for sure.
Well, I want to make sure we have some time to take a look at some new suit stuff. Did you have anything else that you wanted to get out there about Tweeds? How do people get in touch with you?
So you can follow me on Instagram where I post the most content, which would be Tweeds Suit Shop. You can directly call me. I'll put my number in there or what?
Yeah, we can. We'll put the number in the description below. We'll put it on the screen too.
Yeah, I travel, so if you want, I can travel anywhere, measure you up, get you a new suit. But yeah, Instagram where you can call me. The best way to reach out.
The suits are top notch. She's got fabrics of every type of quality you can imagine. So much nicer fabrics than I'd ever seen, especially buying stuff off the rack. I loved the whole custom bespoke experience.
Super fun, right?
It was so much fun.
It's an experience. It's like
there's all kinds of little customizations you can make left and right to make it truly your own. It was definitely the funnest clothing buying experience I've ever had. And we'll have the reveal once I just tried them on. After it takes about 6 weeks.
Yeah, about 6 weeks. Yeah.
So I ordered them about 6 weeks ago at GrowthCon.
Yeah.
Met him back down here, and I just tried them on today. He's going to make some fine tuning adjustments on some things, but we'll get them posted up here soon. We'll get them tagged on social. But they are primo. Shirts, suits. I can't wait. I'm going to go look and buy more here. So thank you so much for being a guest. I just love the way we met, the synchronistic nature of it, how I had just said the morning of, man, I need to get some custom suits. Then because I'm in the wrong place waiting for my party, you come up, you approach me, and next thing you know, I do custom suits.
Next thing, he's in the back of a truck buying a suit.
That sounds way sketchier than it really is.